Most people think that when you buy a house, you're stuck paying the entire mortgage by yourself. What if you could buy a property where someone else covers a big chunk of this payment? Today, I'm going to break down a real property here in Nampa, Idaho that might let you do exactly that. The property is located at 1011 10th Avenue South in Nampa, and it's listed right around 360K. At first, this property it looks like a single family home, but this is what makes it interesting. It's actually two separate living spaces on one lot. The first main house is a 2-bed, 1-bath, and the back unit is a 1-bed, 1-bath with its own interest. So instead of buying just one house, you're buying a property with built-in income potential. Hi, my name is Ryan Spath. I'm a local investor and realtor here in the Treasure Valley, and I'm with Keller Williams Boise. Let's dive in this a little bit deeper and look at the numbers of this potential opportunity. So the property we're talking about, as I mentioned, it's here in Nampa. It's offered at 360K. So this is how we're going to break this guy down. We're going to plug all this information on the sheet. So as you can see, I pre-plugged in the 359K. We're going to acquire this asset with an FHA loan, which is going to allow us to put 3.5% down or just under 13 grand. Our closing costs on this guy are going to be anywhere from 2 to 4%, just under $9,000 in this scenario. Currently, the FHA rate's right around 5.91%. For the taxes, we're just going to look on this listing, 2211. So I just pulled that from there and plugged it in here. And the insurance, likely going to be a little bit under this, but we're just going to overestimate just to kind of run safe numbers. And when we look at this listing, it tells us that the back unit is rented for $1,000. So we're going to plug that number in here. Remember, we're going to use that back unit's rent to offset our mortgage obligation. So when we scroll down here, we see that we would be able to live for just under $1,500. The all-in payment on this guy, including the mortgage insurance premium, you have insurance for getting an FHA loan. It's going to be right around $2,500. So our obligation is going to be just under $1,500. So the reason this works, you guys, this is called house hacking. This is when you buy some type of property, a duplex, two houses on a lot in this case, and you use the rent from one person to help you, A, offset your expenses, and B, you're going to be able to use that rental income to help qualify you to buy more property. So let's dive into this location a little bit. As we know, in real estate, location matters tons and tons. So let's see what we can get going on here. See if we can zoom out and see where this is located at. So this guy's in Nampa. Looks like we have pretty good access to the interstate here. And then I believe this is NNU, the college. So we're relatively close to the college. We would likely get some college students that wanted to rent from us. And then let's actually look at this. Let's check out this location a little bit more. So if we plug this location in, let's say we're going to NNU, the college. So this guy is about a mile from the college here in Nampa. Let's see, downtown Nampa. Mesa Tacos, it's an awesome taco place. If you guys are ever here, come check it out. It's in downtown Nampa. Oh, wow. So this is literally a mile in between downtown and a mile from NNU. So this is an awesome location in Nampa. We're really seeing a lot of revitalization happening here. If you guys aren't familiar with Nampa, it has a walkable downtown. It's really just coming a long way. And this is how it's going to work, you guys. As the expansion takes place in the valley and Boise proper, and the prices increase more, and actually it's just going to push people out. So these are the kind of pockets and areas that we're looking for, and this guy checks all the boxes. So now let's look at this property a little bit more and just take some things into consideration. Let's get real here. So the first thing to be serious about is, if you are going to do this, right, it's going to be invasive to your privacy. Let's look through this. So this front property, the 2-bed, 1-bath, it's a great little single family home. Looks like it might have small bedrooms, but it does definitely fit the bill. But the thing to consider is, right, like this, your tenant is in your backyard. Could you possibly put up a fence and have some separation from the front? You absolutely could, but you're still going to be on the property with the tenant. So that's something that you want to take into consideration, right? So just not everyone's willing to do that. And then here's a quick glance inside that studio apartment that they're currently renting for $1,000. And then let's just see the age of this guy. Let's see what's going on here. So this guy, it's over 100 years old. So real talk, there's likely going to be things that come up with an older property. You're going to have higher maintenance. I know, because I have properties not quite this old, but that are, 20 to 30 years old, and we've had to replace HVACs, we've had to replace roofs, septic systems, etc. So that's something we want to be in consideration for. However, if we're thinking about this long term, let's look and see, right? Because we would want to use this one property as a stepping stone to buy more. The idea with this approach is we're going to use a low down payment loan, and we're going to use a renter to help us keep our housing costs down so we can increase our savings rate, and rinse and repeat this idea. So with this 2-1, one of my favorite sites to use to get rents is Rent-A-Meter. So let's just pop this guy in Rent-A-Meter and see what we could potentially rent this unit for after we lived in it for 1 to 2 years before we buy our next property. So here we go. Let's just say $1,500. So it looks like there's some better properties that are being rented for $1,800. So let's hop in and see if there's any difference between these properties and ours. So we're just going to copy this address, and we're going to go to Zillow. Let's go to rent. We're just going to plug that address in, see if we can check anything out here. So 700 square feet. Our property is 1,000 square feet. So let's see what's going on with this guy. So it doesn't really look any different than ours. It has LVP. Looks like it's freshly painted, stainless steel appliances, an old kitchen that they painted the cabinets. So I mean, is there a chance we could get higher rent for ours? Sure. Would we get that $1,800? I don't know. I don't want to say that, but let's just assume, let's look back here on Rent-A-Meter. Let's assume we can get in the 75th percentile, the upper end. So 1572 when we move out of this guy. So remember, the back unit's already being rented for $1,000, so we know that's already happening. So now when we look here, we see we're going to make about $100 a month. So it is going to stand on its own in that sense. However, we are going to want to account for, a little bit of vacancy. Being that this is a duplex, we're probably going to have to pay someone to mow the lawn. We're going to want to save a little bit of money for repairs in the future. So when we factor these things in, this isn't looking as grand, but it would potentially be a good stepping stone to get started in, learn how to landlord. You would no longer be paying someone else's mortgage down, you're paying your mortgage down, which is an awesome option. And as our market appreciates and you pay your mortgage down, you're going to gain equity in this property, something that can be leveraged later on where you could do a refinance to extract some of that equity and use it to help you acquire another asset. Just great things, right? The idea is to purchase enough of these small houses on the monopoly board so we can trade them into a bigger red hotel later in life when we need them. Okay, so if anyone is interested in doing this, if you guys found value in this video, please subscribe. I post these videos once a week. If you'd like help with your personal scenario, with your situation, if you want help with analyzing a deal, running numbers, seeing how potentially house hacking could help offset your housing expenses and increase your wealth journey, please reach out to me. Again, my name is Ryan Spath. I'm an investor turned realtor here in the Boise area, and I'm with Keller Williams Boise. I hope to hear from you soon.